Hey fellow Nevillers, today I've got my nose still up in Feed My Sheep, but Neville in this lecture is explaining a whole bunch, giving me some smackings which I love to share with you viewers. Neville shares what is Israel, our Israel, as in is real, and he shares a little more in here about Jacob and Esau, which of course you are, I am, because they're all based on the Bible, and the Bible is our autobiography. He also shares up in here why we were fashioned from the womb to be servants. Kind of sounds important, right? And it is. So let's dive in, fellow Nevillers. And Neville also lovingly shares how we can lift another, i.e. we have a friend, relative, anyone in our world, or even someone we hear of or read about. We can lift them from the state of unhealthy to healthy, and we can also lift someone that doesn't have a job to be gainfully employed. You realize how we can lift others up. We do this with our imagination, of course, because consciousness is the only reality. And there's something else in here I wanted to share, fellow Nevillers. By this process of lifting others, my lovelies, we go from being a servant of the Lord to being a friend of the Lord. Third step is sonship. We'll deal with that one in another video. Let's dive in. A third of the way through this lecture, my lovelies, and Neville asks us, do you know who Israel is? Who Jacob is? And here we go. The Israel means is real. Well, that makes sense. You can't find it on earth. Don't look for it on earth, and yet you must find him. For formed in the womb to be my servants and to bring Jacob, which is Israel, unto me. Isiah 49 verse 5. So you and I were formed in the womb to be the servant and to bring Jacob unto the Lord. He is scattered all over the world, but you will not find him, no, not the smallest grain. But you will find him within yourself, of course, because that's where everything is. For the cue is given in Jacob. Jacob is the smooth-skinned lad. He is not like his brother Esau, who has hair, which means something external, i.e. out here in our 3D reality. So the Israel that you are looking for this day is the thing you want to realize in the world. Now, I know you watchers, viewers, lovelies, have got your own Israel, something that you want to realize in this world. Neville's going to slap us. Do not look out and hope to find it, or even to be encouraged that you will find it, by judging after the appearance of things. Do you seek health for a friend? Now Neville shows us how to lift someone in our world. That's Israel scattered, but not on earth. In all the nations of the world, I have scattered the house of Israel. But do not look into the eyes of a doctor for hope. Do not look into the eyes of the patient for hope of his recovery, because you will not find him on earth. Not the least grain has fallen upon the earth. So, do you know what you want in this world? If you know exactly what you want, where do you see it? You see it in the mind of yourself. So when you know what you want, here is a part of Israel scattered. Now we know what Israel means and symbolizes in the Bible. Thank you, Neville. You saw him in the kingdom within you, for the kingdom of God is within. Yes. So you saw a piece of Israel, now go bring him. I formed you from the womb to be my servant, and to bring Jacob again unto me. You take that thing you have seen in the mind's eye, which, to make it practical, we will think of as a friend in need. And now Neville shares how exactly we do this. It may be a physical need, maybe he is unwell, or it could be he needs a job. Well now, you be the one who will decide what part of Israel you will bring to the Lord, and prove to the Lord you are a perfect servant. For the promise is that when you prove you are the perfect servant, then you will no longer be called servant, and he will call you his friend. I no longer call you servant, for now I call you friend, for you do whatsoever I command you, and therefore, if you do what I command you, you are no longer my servant, you are my friend. And now we will commune as a man to friend, face to face. This bit got me here. Another you has had this association for a while, for that is the purpose of it, to move from the servant to the friend. And after we become the friend of God for a while, then we turn to that of the Son. We no longer are the friend, we become his son, but we cannot recognize the sonship of God until we first prove ourselves as a servant. So the servant is to bring Israel. Imagine lovingly and believe in your imaginal activity. So Neville's given us a big smack of understanding there. Israel is real. We were born from the womb to be the Lord's servant. Once we've, what should we say? When we raise people in our imagination because we want to, not because we have to, but because we want to. We want to see them happier, lovelier, noble, more gentle, all that kind of thing, and gainfully employed and totally healthy. So we do that in our imagination while we're the servant. We do it over and over and over again with all beings in our world, in our consciousness, our 3D reality out there, which they're really up here. They're just a figment of our imagination. What's the way to say this? We lift them high. I was going to say repair them, but that's not quite the right word to use. The more we do this and bring Jacob to the Lord, our Israel to the Lord, we keep doing this, and then we move to the friend, or we'll be a friend of the Lord. So today's lesson, really, my lovelies, the moral of Neville's lecture is to just see everyone in our world ideally. Sometimes they say what they want, sometimes you can guess what they want. So that's what we're to do. We're to keep lifting others in our world. Raising humanity is what I call it, because that's what I want to do. As soon as I bumped into Neville's work, it's like, oh, revision. That's what I should be doing. That's what I want to do. So that's what we're doing. Revising what we see out there, making it a perfect image, and then showing that to the Lord via Jacob, Israel, and Esau. Esau is the hairy one, which is like, you can feel it. It's like touch. When you're in your imaginal scene, you use touch. There's a little more here in Neville's lecture about the friend in need. He says, now we come back to the friend in need. Represent him to yourself as though he now embodied the state you want. You want him to realize in this world. If it is a job, see him gainfully employed. Take your imaginary hand, which is Jacob's hand, and put it into his imaginary hand. Leave it in that imagined state until it takes on the tones of reality. When it seems to you real, that you are actually touching him, clothe it with all the reality of the external world. So Jacob clothed himself in the skins of Esau to deceive his father into believing that he, Jacob, was Esau. So you take the Jacob within you, which is the smooth-skinned lad, which is simply now the wish. Here's a little more. You want to congratulate him. You want to hear his voice. You want to hear him tell you he has never been so happy in a job in his life. He has never been so gainfully employed, that he loves going to work. He just loves everything about his job. You actually hear him as though you heard him. Now you clothe it with all the tones of reality. If you have 2 talents, give it 2. If you have 5, give it 5. Begin to make it more and more real. The day will come, maybe this day, you will so clothe your Israel with the skins of Esau as an objective fact to your father, and prove you are a servant, for he formed you from the womb to actually be his servant. And what is the servant to do? To bring Jacob unto me again. So here is Jacob, scattered, lost in all the minds of men. You won't find him on earth. You will only find him if you know where to look. Now, to prove you know where to look, to prove you are a good servant, go bring me Jacob. So when you bring Jacob, you bring Jacob clothed in your own mind's eye, as though you heard what you want to hear, as though you touched and you witnessed what you would like to touch and see in this world. And when you remain faithful to your vision, the vision will make for itself that perfect body in which to abide. Then you will see an objective, corresponding fact, but it is not there. It is all within your own mind. It is there where he scattered it. It is there where he sustains it. He will simply project it for you onto the screen of space out here, that you may have tangible evidence that you do know how to find and bring Jacob. If I know how to go searching for my Israel, if I know how to go looking for him and how to clothe him and give him the appearance of reality, and I don't do it, oops, then I am not the good servant who took 5 talents and expanded them, but I am the one who buried it. So, yesterday's lecture was about the talents from the Bible and the ones that Neville's sharing with us. Here we see, in this part I just shared here, the talents. You've got the talents. I've got the talents. The talents is to bring someone out there, well, in our 3D reality, in our consciousness, change them to the ideal we want to see, they want to see, and prove to the Lord that you're a good servant. So that's what we're going to do. Well, that's what I'm going to do, and I know you will too. Let's go out and prove we are good servants and move to the category of the Lord's friend and eventually have sonship. I can tell you, fellow Nevillers, I've done this. When I used to have my hair cut at a certain hairdresser, she said her son needs a job. He needs it bad. So I came home and I did exactly that. I heard him congratulate the boss congratulate him on his new appointment, and I heard the hairdresser was the son's mother in my 3D reality, and I heard over and over and over again how happy he was to have this position at this new company in town where I am. And lo and behold, 3 or 4 weeks later, have my hair cut again. I casually said, well, did your son get the job? He said, yeah. So I had my hair cut, I went home and I jumped for joy. I did it. I proved to the Lord that I'm a good servant, and I continue to do that. All right, my lovelies, that's enough excitement from one lecture. There's still another part to this. Of course, Neville shares so many bombshells in his lectures. I hate to miss a piece, so I hate to not share it with you. If you found it useful, my fellows, please give me a thumbs up. I love thumbs up. YouTube loves thumbs up. They're going to promote me. Big fat kiss to you, big fat kiss to myself and to YouTube. Leave a comment and I'll read a lecture, decipher it, and we'll be back again tomorrow because there's never enough Neville. Bye, my lovelies.